Aloha, 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 aloha to my warriors out there. Day 8 to Road to 45. And we're getting closer to that date. Um, and as we get closer, I realize that um, there's so much to be thankful for, but also like the village that was a part of my upbringing, the village that was um, put in place for me and my siblings and my cousins and our generation. So let's talk about that village and let's dig into that. Um, Everybody's got a village that has helped raise them, and sometimes those villages are huge and massive in scale, and sometimes some people's villages are very small and can fit in the palm of one hand, right? Counting the amount of people that might be in that inner circle, in that village that helped to raise you, or in this case, raise the children around you. I was fortunate enough to have a huge village, and I was just having a conversation the other day about how we had this huge village around us. You know, we were raised by aunties, uncles, not just our parents, but like second cousins and great aunts and great uncles, and they're all part of the support system that it took to have for my parents to have the support that they needed. Um, and beyond that, we had Hanai families, we had um, families who chose us. And I'll deal with that discussion on another day on being Hanai. But when I look at the village that was a part of me being raised here in Hawaii, in Keaukaha, in my community, I think about all the extra people that came into play, not just my teachers, my coaches, they're all a part of the village. And I noticed today that although the students that I have had in the past have been raised with families involved in their lives, I don't know if they realize how big or small their villages are. And I don't know if their parents realize how important it is for that village to be involved. And I say this because I know I see so many families struggling out there just to understand the generational differences between them, their children, and their parents, right? So it's an important aspect for me to understand that because my parents worked so much, um, we were always around family that wasn't just our parents. And because of that, we had access to knowledge banks, wisdom banks of these elders that were a part of our upbringing. And having access to them means having access to the trials and the tribulations that they had to endure in their generation. And then that taught me, like, wow, I'm lucky that I've never had to get drafted to go to war. I've never had to think about if I needed to turn off the lights because we are in a ration of electricity, or if I had to um, give up my firstborn son. Like, never did I have to think about those things. But yet, I grew up in a time where I had people in my life that is a part of the big village that had to. They've had to go on deployment, like they've had to leave their families because they were drafted. They've had to, uh, mothers, grandmothers, and great aunts and uncles had to give their first son to the draft, right? Some of them have lived through the fallouts of the bombing of Pearl Harbor and the PTSD that comes with the loud noises and the big bombs and the loud jets. And I've never had to really like suffer through that. We were taught about it, we learned about it. We often might have experienced a little bit of the jet and the military jet, but nothing to the extent that we've had to take shelter in our own homes based on, what was happening outside. Um, so that village that had a hand in raising me, through their experiences, I got to learn of all these things. And because of learning about these stories, I've got the ability and have the ability to understand, but don't necessarily um, have to be the one to say like, "Oh, I've lived through that." I haven't. I've only heard stories, and so I'm thankful for my village because I I am blessed that I've never had to go through some of the hardships that those who are part of my upbringing had to endure. Um, and so I think it's important for young families and young parents to understand like it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to reach out to family and do know that when you do reach out, you are going to be asking for the good, the bad, the ugly, and the hurt that comes with these people. That's going to help you. That you're asking for help from, because we're not perfect. But it's important, I think, for others to know, especially young families who are having teenagers now, coming out of COVID, trying to figure out how to stay educated, for these young families and these young parents. Like, don't forget your village and that you have access to more than you really do think you have. But sometimes it's a pride thing. You gotta ask for help, and it's okay because you'd be surprised how big that village is and how much people who you don't expect will come through. But we don't know how to help if we don't get asked to help. Um, and I say this with as much of my heart as I can because it is not easy out there. So please, if you have young families, if you have teenagers and you need help, like please reach out to your families. Please reach out to your village to help you, so your village knows that you need help. And hopefully, with that asking and with that opportunity, you are able to get the help that you need because it's not easy raising kids these days. And I know you cannot do it by yourself. And I know you shouldn't do it by yourself. So reach out because again, like I was fortunate enough to have a huge village to help raise me, my siblings, and my cousins. And even though I may not be a parent myself, if you need help, ask because we don't know what you need if you don't ask. I'm gonna leave you guys at that. Always keep aloha in your heart because when you have aloha in your heart, you have more aloha to share with the world. And truly and honestly believe aloha will save the world 1% at a time. So please take aloha with you wherever you go. You guys have a good one. Aloha. Ahui ho.